Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to the Audit and Administration Committee meeting for October 28, 2024. If we could rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Say, Goldman, if you could lead us in the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We've got roll call.
Legislator Illner?
Here.
Legislator Blumen? Chairman Castellano?
Present. Okay, moving on to item number 3 is I'm sorry, I'm going to just start by a quick statement from our colleague, Legislator Erin Crowley, District 9. It is with her deep regret that she's informed us of a death in her family, and therefore she's unable to attend tonight's meeting or tomorrow's Adopt a Budget meeting. She appreciates everybody's understanding during this difficult time in her family, and we just want to send our prayers to Erin Crowley's family. Just wanted to make that quick statement for her. That's why she's not here. And then we'll move on to item number 3, jumping the gun. Correspondence from the county auditor. I'm sorry, Jenny sent a letter also?
Yeah, she did.
Oh, she did. She sent an email. She didn't ask for it to be read into the record, but
Okay.
she did send an email.
Unfortunately, Jenny's out as well. I hope she can attend.
Not feeling.
Okay. Item number 3 is the correspondence from the county auditor. We have a bunch of FYIs in front of us, starting with 3A is the sales tax report. As compared to the year previously, we had a little bit of a downturn, but we're right on target for the year for sales tax, which is a good thing. Any questions or comments? 3B is the OTB report. Again, hopefully we're going to target to what we budgeted for the year, which is $2,500. We'll see what comes in the next couple of months. And 3C is the board-in revenue report. Another solid month from the Sheriff's Department. We're right on target for the year. After, we have 3 more months to go. We'll hit our target date, target amount. Questions or comments? 3D is the transfer revenue report, just an FYI, if anybody has any questions or comments. And then 3E is the 2024 contingency, sub-contingency amount. We have one proposed one that we'll take up this evening. Again, just an FYI. Questions or comments? Okay. Let's move on to item number 4, correspondence from the Commissioner of Finance. Mr. Lewis.
Hello.
Thank you for attending.
Thank you, Chairman.
We'll start with 4A, which is the overtime temporary report. This is an FYI as we get close to the end of the year. If anybody has any questions or comments, then just an FYI. All right, 4B is the approval of budgetary amendment for the Health Department, additional vaccines for upcoming clinics. I guess you're here, you're going to be the one to talk about this one?
Yeah, I'll try to be Dr. Mike here, but, so there's surplus revenues, so from a budgetary perspective, they're increasing their disease treatment appropriation with offsetting revenue. I got to talk to Dr. Mike before the meeting, and pretty much all this is providing vaccines for the constituents who are going to go, overseas. That they have the measles, mumps, rubella, or yellow fever, or all that type of stuff before they go to a country.
If a Putnam County resident is traveling to, let's say, Asia, and has to take certain precautionary...
Right, so instead of doing it privately, they offer the service.
Oh,
And it's
interesting.
at a cheaper rate.
Okay. So it's basically we're just offsetting, zero fiscal impact, just moving the money around. Any questions or comments? Legislator Goldman.
Does the resident pay a fee for that, or we?
Yes, that's what the appropriate, yep.
And we're budgeting approximately $3,000 for
Correct.
of incoming money.
To buy the supplies for it.
Yep.
Through the chair, you said for vaccines, people going overseas, are there other vaccines included in this travel clinic? fee?
That I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
He mentioned,
Because, I mean, how often is that used?
that,
Yeah,
that's
okay.
check. That's, I have to
Just-
defer to Dr. Mike on that particular
Okay.
one. If you want me to find out, I can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I always assumed you just
Yeah.
go to your regular doctor, but I guess this would be a cheaper thing, but a benefit to all Putnam County residents that they can go here as opposed to.
Correct.
Okay. Zero fiscal impact, it's $3,000 of potential income and money to cover the costs. So it seems pretty straightforward. Any objections? I'll make a motion to move it to the full. Do I have a second?
This amount so small, can you just sign?
No, this is a resolution. It's going to go to,
Okay.
it's going to go to the full as a resolution. Any questions or comments from anyone else? I'll make a motion to move it to the full. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. 4C is the approval of budgetary amendment for Office of Senior Resources, increase in served meals and cost of food. Obviously, cost of food's gone up. Oh, here we go.
Sorry.
Thanks for coming out tonight.
Oh, of course.
Appreciate it. I don't know if you want to give us a quick overview. I know it's state and federal aid that's going to cover the cost.
Correct. So last month in the audit and admin meeting, we had a budget transfer for the other half of the missing funds to cover the rest of the food, I would call it financial shortage for the rest of the year. This is a revenue increase due to increase in state aid that we'll receive next year. Actually, for this year, excuse me.
Yeah. Well, that's good news. We have some very good federal and state aid, they'll cover the cost, increase food prices, and of course, you guys doing great business, having more people attend, I assume. Of
course.
Is good news for the Putnam County seniors.
Yeah, behind the legislature is all the allocation schedules by county.
Any questions or comments? No. Very good. I'll make a motion to move it to the full. Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Do you have any other business tonight?
No, not that I
I just
know
want to
of.
make sure before I let you go, and
I don't think so.
just checking.
No? Okay.
All right, you're welcome to stay if you want, but
Sure, of course, thank you.
I wouldn't,
You might not want to.
got a Yankee game, Giant game, Nick game.
I got it, let's go.
4D is the approval of budgetary amendment for DPW, unexpected major repairs through the end of this year. This is an amount of, let me make a motion to bring in the addition of the new, into this revised. Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. So it was a revised amount of $50,000.
Oh, I didn't see that, but
You didn't
okay.
see it?
I did. Thank you.
So, road machinery subcontractor, $30,000, road machinery automotive, $20,000, for a total of $50,000.
So pretty much what, I mean, regardless of the amount, I have 30,000, but it's 50 now. All they're doing is taking money from, savings from their county road fund and moving it into road machinery.
So we're covering the cost, zero fiscal impact for this year.
Correct.
Any questions or comments?
Thank
Make a motion to move to the full, do I have a second? The revised. Or the revised, I'll make a motion to move the revised to the full. All in favor? 4E is the approval of budgetary amendment for Veteran Services Agency peer-to-peer program, comply with state aid levels.
They're just increasing the appropriations with the offsetting revenue per the allocation table on the next page.
So we have an increase of $4,098 coming to this program.
Correct.
Zero fiscal impact, great program that it is, I'm sure we'll put it to good use. I'll make a motion to move it to the full, do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. 4F is the approval of budgetary amendment for the Health Department to utilize ATUPA funds for tobacco and vaping education and preventional activities. ATUPA.
So this is, again, revenues that's been recognized, they're reinvesting it into the program for education and prevention activities and supplies.
In total, it's in the amount of $5,675 for this promotional materials, miscellaneous items that will hopefully teach people not to use these products. Any questions or comments? Make a motion to move it to the full. Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Okay, moving right along here. Okay, 4G is the approval of a budgetary amendment for finance contracts, Tilly Foster Farm and the Putnam County Golf Course. Michael, would you give us
Yes,
an
this is a three-part type of adjustment. We had O'Connor Davies come in to do an audit or an agreed-upon procedure regarding the sales initiative incentive program that covered from April 1st, 21 through December 31st of 23. What was inclusive of that, if you look at the next page, is their incentive payments per their contract, that anything above $1.2 million at Tilly Table, they would be paid an incentive. So they did this analysis, so this is covering that $24,000, the $24,212. In addition, at Putnam Golf Course, what we found, based on the auditor's review, is that what they were doing is when they were sending their sales to us, they were including service charges. Service charges are really just the gratuities. So in the contract, that doesn't belong to us, that belongs to Homestyle. So all we're doing is reimbursing for that length of time. You know, so pretty much our revenues were overstated for those 2 or 3 years, so we're just reimbursing them back.
Which 2 or 3 years? We're talking 2021 through 2023?
Correct. So from April 1st of 21 through December 31st of 23, it was approximately $243,000.
Okay.
That's just service
Yes.
through the chair.
Lisa, Elner?
No, well, I'm sorry, through the chair. I was just going to say that amount, that
243,826.
that was just service.
Correct.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was Homestyle paid that to their,
Servers.
Right. So we have to reimburse them for that. And it's in their contract.
Commissioner Lewis, I see here that there's a threshold when it's above $1.2 million, then that there's an incentive payment of 5%. Being that gratuities was included, was a factor out of it.
Correct.
On this number.
Yes.
So they've exceeded the threshold even when they subtracted out the gratuities for each of these years.
Correct. Their worksheet, their analysis had that as a separate column, the service charges. This was strictly on the net sales.
Thank you.
You got it.
Okay.
And then thirdly, in addition, like we do every year, we're projecting out, fourth quarter, what we're gonna owe them. So this is for $450,000, which will include, their payroll and all their operational expenses.
Okay. At least we've corrected our books. Legislator Goldman.
That will not affect the budget moving forward, right? This is happening after.
Correct. Yeah, and we now have mechanisms now, and we're working with Homestyle and their accounting staff.
So it's taken into consideration for the
Correct.
2025 budget.
Correct.
We have it all figured out.
Correct.
Okay. Well, good thing is that we have the money to cover the costs, and we're moving it, zero fiscal impact, which is good. So we'll just move this money around to cover the costs. Anybody else have any question or comment?
Just a comment. This is because they had greater revenues to us. So this is, it's not that we owe them, we're just giving them their share of the proceeds.
Correct. Yeah, so the bottom line is, for that time period, the revenues were actually overstated. So now by paying them back the service charges, this is going to now square it away. So that's why you see the $268,000, you see refund of prior year's expenses. We're just refunding them back that money.
The Chair. So, interest and earnings, that's where the money is coming out of for the $450,000 that's being
So, and the
budgeted?
reason being is because around this time, we normally have up-to-date revenue projections, but our accounting staff has been obviously bogged down, so in order to cover that expense, we're fortunate enough that we have surplus interest earnings, so we're going to pay it from there. But by the end of the year, we're going to have, surplus, revenue from the operations.
Any other questions? With that, I'll make a motion to move it to the full. Do I have a second? All in favor? 4H is the approval of budgetary amendment for DPW funding awarded for NERSAC to be used for electric landscaping equipment. It's the amount of $15,000. Zero fiscal impact, incoming money as we're converting some of our equipment to battery operated, I assume. Yep. I think it's the right thing to do for sure. Anybody have any questions or comments? I'll make a motion to move it to the full. Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. 4I is the approval of budgetary amendment for personnel. This is the Board of Ethics Legal Services. Board of Ethics came to us asking for an additional $25,000 to cover the cost of potential legal services. I'll open it up for any discussion on this one. Mike, do you have an overview on this at all?
The only thing I could say is that Director Eldridge, back on October 3rd, had asked for this application. He cited the code that allows for this action, and we were able to fund it with our surplus interest earnings instead of taking it out of contingency.
Let's see.
Donkey. Thank you. I've asked the committee to consider an amendment to this and make it $10,000. This is an ethics complaint. It's interesting and that Director Eldridge refers to part of the code that allows the ethics board to hire their own attorney. And we just received a veto from the county executive that would disallow the legislature from hiring their own attorney. All right, so that tells you the conflict within the code. I would rather see us allocate $10,000 for now, because even if you considered a lawyer at $400 an hour, that's 25 hours. That hopefully should be enough to cover this. And if necessary, they can come back and ask for more money. I think $25,000 is a lot of money for legal fees for the ethics board at this time.
Understood. Any other comments or questions?
I agree with Legislator Yankee. I think that we're better off taking this and reducing it to $10,000.
Okay.
I don't agree with this one.
This is in addition to what they already have. Do they have a budget currently?
No.
They have zero budget for this.
They should be going to the county attorney for it, but because there's a conflict, correct?
Correct. I understand it.
Okay. I understand why there's conflict, they can't use the county attorney, but should this really be coming from the county attorney budget as opposed to the general fund?
Well, it would be the general fund if it was coming from the county attorney, but I thought there was a conflict. I can find out.
So potentially, since there's a conflict, we would have gone to the county attorney, would have come out of their budget as opposed to producing 25,000 additional. So,
Yeah, I mean, let's be transparent, people are watching this. And because the county attorney made very public his ethics complaint, it's the county attorney who filed the ethics complaint. And he made it public by sending it to the state attorney general, right? So it's public. And he filed an ethics complaint against one of our colleagues, all right? And it emanates from a lawsuit that was filed by the county attorney without the permission of this legislature, and in response to him being called in front of us to explain, he filed an ethics complaint against a member of the legislature and our council, all right, which has created a situation that has paralyzed the legislature. We really don't have any ability to get outside counsel. That was just vetoed. And now we have an ethics complaint that they're going to lay at the feet of one of our colleagues to the tune of $25,000, and that's not fair. This whole thing emanated from the county attorney, all right? And if the ethics board needs anything more than $10,000, let them come back to us. But just for total transparency, so everybody knows where we're at, and I hear that word, I keep saying that, we've been hearing transparency, that word, for 2 years. That's the story. And I really think that you should consider lowering the request, or lowering the amount requested, or that we're allocating to 10,000.
I think we're on that path right now, except the legislator Elner brought up the fact that maybe the 10,000 should come from somewhere else other than
I don't think, pardon me for interrupting, but I don't think it can, because the county attorney's money is allocated to the county attorney, and in the code, it does say that the ethics board can hire the attorney. They do have a line in their budget that just isn't filled this year. We can fill that, and once again, it's interesting that they can hire their own attorney. They can choose, they can select their own attorney, and we can't.
Let's say Goldman?
Well, being the ethics board, they really should have an independent voice and the way to do things. We can't really control what they do. We shouldn't really control what they do. So, based on what you said, it's not a good thing. I originally said I would support that, but based on having a separate ethics board, I think 25 should be fine.
Okay. Legislator Sage?
I mean, let's just make it clear that this money is going from one account to another account, but it's all taxpayer dollars. That's the bottom line, is that these lawsuits aren't free, and it costs the taxpayer every time somebody slaps up more lawsuits.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out how this would go forward anyway. I think the 10,000 is a reasonable number, and I do think they should have their own counsel, and if they do need more money, they should come back to us at a later date and explain what's going on, and hopefully we'll have a better understanding at that point. I'm going to make a motion to change the amount from $25,000 down to $10,000 to cover this cost. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
One no. Okay, that being said, now that we have the amount set at $10,000, I'm going to make a motion to move it to the full. Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. No. One no. Okay, thank you. Moving on to 4J is the approval of budgetary amendment for the Sheriff's Department overtime reimbursement from New York State Stop DWI Foundation for the DRE call-outs for May of 2024. Zero fiscal impact, we're just moving the money around to cover the costs. It's only in the amount of $315.19. Pretty straightforward. Any questions or comments? I'll make a motion to move it to the full. Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. 4K is the approval of budgetary amendment for the Sheriff's Department overtime reimbursement from New York State Stop DWI Foundation for DWI checks from February to May of 2024. This is in the amount of $3,107.20, incoming money again. zero fiscal impact. Again, very straightforward. Questions or comments? We'll make a motion to move it to the full. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. 4I, or what are we up to, L?
We just did it, right?
Yes, H-I, doing my alphabet here, we're up to L. 4L, looks like an I to me, but it's an L.
It's an L.
4L, approval of budgetary amendment for the coroner's office, funding awarded from Health Research Incorporated for participation in a drug overdose report submission program. This is the amount of $900 of state aid coming to Putnam County to cover the costs for the coroner's office for uniforms. Very straightforward. Questions or comments? I'll make a motion to send it to the full. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. 4M is the approval of budgetary amendment for planning, U.S. Department of Transportation grant awarded for transit buses. Barbara Morosa is here tonight. Thank you for coming. You want to give us an overview on 4M?
So this is just moving money from Section 5307, our annual allocation. We have set in a line. We received the grant this summer, so the grant was executed to purchase 5 transit buses, and it has zero fiscal impact.
Good news for Putnam.
Jim, if I can just make on the bottom, I realized as I was reviewing that local share transfer from general in the decrease in the estimated revenues, that's just a transpo on my end. I would like that to be from 57,997,000 to 55,997,000. And the project code is not 52006, it's 52206.
Okay. We'll make a motion to amend it as stated, and you can give us that in writing, so we'll have it
Yes.
right for next week. Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. All right, with that change, anybody else have any questions or comments? I'll make a motion to move it to the full. Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. And we also have 4N, approval of budgetary amendment for planning, funding awarded for NYSERDA solar panels on the transit facility.
So from the Climate Smart certification, NYSERDA has given us several allocations of funding. The electric landscaping equipment, we received $10,000, $5,000, and for this, we're receiving $125,000. So this is really just to create a line for the project.
And this will be at the Donald B. Smith campus,
No, this is at the transit facility.
at the transit facility. Okay. I think it's good news for Putnam County. Anybody have any questions or comments? Legislator Elmer.
Some of the back up here, from what you said, I understand there was a rejection. Has that been cleared up?
Yes, we actually applied initially for, because we received the notice that we were eligible for the fund. It had to be, we had to apply for a eligible project. We tried to apply for replacement windows at the Donald B. Smith campus, and they rejected it.
The backup is stating that there's a vendor who didn't complete their certification, that they will not engage in any business with Russia.
That wasn't why we were rejected, actually.
Final paragraph, second last paragraph.
Yeah.
And if I may, a completed certification form will be required from each vendor as part of the contracting process.
So we completed that
Yeah.
recently. We actually didn't get to the contract, that's part of the contract. So for the windows, we didn't actually get that certification, we didn't get to the contract phase.
Legislator Sage, did you have a question?
I was just wondering what page Legislator Elmer was reading
Yeah.
from. I don't,
third page,
Page 2.
title, and top of the page, Putnam County notice, and then it says Deer Park or Barossa.
It's page 2.
Page
Oh, I see, okay.
2.
Yeah, I thought you were in the contract.
Second to last paragraph,
So that's-
beginning with to comply.
Yes, we completed that. This was just for your information. This was part of the contract, and this was the notification we received with the contract.
Okay.
Page 5, I believe, shows the 125,000 for the solar.
Any other questions or comments? I'll make a motion to move it to the full. Do I have a second? All in favor? Okay. We have one other item on tonight, Paul? And it would be item number 19 towards the end. Make a motion to move up item number 19 if we could. Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. So item number 19 is the approval authorization to execute New York State Department of Transportation Urban Master Agreement. Would you like to speak on this?
Yes, so we have a contract before us to execute, basically to receive all of the funding from New York State for transportation from the past 3 years. We've been actually trying to obtain this for several years now, and it's time sensitive, which is why it's on the agenda for tonight. This enables us to get the 10% match for Maybrook Bridge 5 project match, as well as all of our MEP funding that we've received over the past few years.
Okay.
So it will, there's a Schedule A included that delineates all of the funding that we'll be receiving.
Very good. Any questions or comments from any of the legislators? Okay, I'll make a motion to move item number 19 to the full. Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Thank you very much. You're welcome to stay as well.
I wouldn't.
So moving back to item 4O, approval of budgetary amendment for social services, projected expenses through the end of the year. So, as I understand, this is court-ordered, that expenses that we have to pay. County contribution, $66,799. Obviously, we have to pay our bills, pretty straightforward. Any questions or comments? Fortunately, we have the ability to move it from interest and earnings, so it would be zero fiscal impact as we're moving the money around to cover our costs and bills. Any questions? Other than that, I'll make a motion to move it to the full. Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. 4P, approval of budgetary amendment for finance, legal aid payment.
These are just our 18B services, and we're just adjusting accordingly in our third quarter submittal.
And this is covered by state aid, right?
Correct. As you might recall, when I was doing the budget presentation, the state went from $75 per hour to $158 per hour for misdemeanors, felonies, family court, but of that 158, they reimburse the incremental difference by 50%, so that's what the 63,000 represents.
Questions or comments? We'll make a motion to move it to the full. Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. 4Q is the approval of a budgetary amendment for the Sheriff's Department reimbursement of patrol services. This is
Just
outside services that are paid to Putnam County for the services of the Sheriff's Department.
for
Zero.
overtime and fringes.
Gotcha. Zero fiscal impact, very straightforward. Questions or comments from anyone? Make a motion to move it to the full. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. 4R is the approval of a budgetary amendment for the Sheriff's Department to replace UTVs. This is the utility task vehicles that we spoke about recently.
Yes.
As we talked about it, us potentially having it in the 2025 budget. Turns out that we have some money to cover this cost, and what else can you tell us about this?
No, again, with the chairman's support, we're just going to, and county executive, we're just going to move this money and pay for it now in 2024 using our surplus interest earnings, which will allow the sheriff to get the vehicles quicker and lock in that quote that he got for 2024 versus 2025.
Great. Any questions or comments from anyone? Okay. I'll make a motion to move it to the full. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. 4S is the approval of budgetary amendment for finance unexpected, unexpended funds, youth, sports, and education. This is a decrease in state aid that was coming to us in the amount of $10,344. So we have to correct our books to lower the appropriation.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much I think the state reached out to Director Cunningham, and it wasn't needed, the funds, so they gave it back, and they'll give it to someone, another municipality.
Questions or comments? Make a motion to move it to the full. Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Moving on to item number 5. This is approval of a fund transfer for emergency services, travel expenses covered by the Threat Assessment Management Grant. This is money covered by the grant, which is in the amount of $5,529.64 for travel expenses. Very straightforward. Questions or comments? This is just for signature, so I will make a motion to sign. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Item number 6 is the approval of a fund transfer for the Sheriff's Department to cover projected SPO salary through the end of the year due to pay increases. This is to cover the hourly rate as the rate went up. Fortunately, we have the money to cover the costs. Zero fiscal impact. We're just moving money to the right category. Am I missing anything?
Correct.
Okay. Any questions or comments? I'll make a motion to send it to the full. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 7 is the approval of fund transfer for mental health and social services, furniture for legal. We're asking for us to move $2,100 for legal conference for table and chairs, 6 chairs, and legal, I'm assuming a table, conference table.
Correct.
Yeah. Would you like to speak to this at all?
I mean, it's just, I guess it's vacancy savings, operational savings from the temp line to purchase the furniture. And I believe that they demonstrated in the 25 budget presentation that they were going to use unused money in 24 instead of 25. So they didn't put in for that.
So they might have put in for it in 25, but since they had some savings here, they felt that they could use this money to cover the cost for this furniture.
Correct.
Okay.
And I believe this is for the attorney for GSS, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it says legal
Yep.
conference. So.
Yep.
Questions or comments from any of the legislators? This is just to sign, so I will make a motion to sign. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. We have a couple of these coming up back to back here, I guess. It's item number 8, also from Mental Health and Social Services, furniture for the Commissioner's Office, the amount of $1,000, again, moving it from a temp line to furniture to cover the cost, replacing a filing cabinet chair for the Commissioner's Office. Again, same thing you just mentioned a few moments
They're
ago.
probably the original file cabinets from Commissioner Piazza. So.
Ooh, there you go.
Very possible.
Questions or comments from anyone? I'll make a motion to sign. Do I have a second? Second. favor? Item number 9, same issue, furniture for the Deputy Commissioner's office. This is in the amount of $4,800, also found in their savings from the temporary personnel line that they didn't use in 2024. This is for a new position, this Deputy Commissioner's office. This is a conference table, 6 chairs, desk, 2 side chairs, and a storage cabinet. $4,800. Definitely need the furniture for the new position, no doubt about that. Everybody okay with this? Questions or comments? I'll make a motion to sign. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Item number 10, approval of a fund transfer for the Health Department to replenish rabies vaccines. $1,700. Fortunately, again, we have the money within our budget that we can move around to cover the cost to replenish this, these vaccines. Any other input on this one?
Not just taking bait.
From the bats. It happens sometimes, I guess. It's the right thing to do for the people of Putnam County. Any questions or comments? Again, 0 fiscal impact, which is a good thing. I'll make a motion to sign. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Item number 11 is approval of a fund transfer for mental health and social services, furniture for a new office for the Director of Mental Health. Same one, right? Same amount, right? $4,900. Again, we're reappropriating some funds to purchase furniture for the new office, the new position of Director of Mental Health. Is it not the same as the one we just did?
No, that one was for the Deputy Commissioner.
Deputy. Got it.
This is more furniture.
More furniture and stuff.
Additional items.
Yep. This is going to go to the full as a resolution. Any questions or comments from anyone on this item? I'll make a motion to move it to the full. Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Item number 12 is the approval of fund transfer for DPW overtime through year's end. Obviously, DPW has been very busy this year. We have a little bit of overtime we have to cover to the end of the year in the amount of $32,295 will get us to December 31st, I hope. That's the projection. Fortunately, again, we're moving some money from within the budget, 0 fiscal impact as we can cover this cost. Pretty straightforward. Anybody have any questions or comments? I'll make a motion to move it to the full. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Item number 13 is the approval of a fund transfer for the Law Department litigation settlement for the Crevac versus Putnam County case. Oh, how are you?
Good morning, or good evening, everyone. How are you? I figured I'd come say hello.
Great. Thanks for coming.
Yes, you're welcome.
We have any oversight on this? We discussed it in length, I think.
We discussed it in nauseam, actually, and, but it needed to be done. This is just moving some money from the contingency over to get the deductible paid. We received the invoices from NYMER for the $200,000, which is the deductible amount, which is the amount of money that we're responsible for the overall settlement. Reduced from $250, I got it to $200. At this point in time, we're just transferring some money from contingency over to my line so I can get it processed and paid tomorrow. I think Crevac's going before the full board tomorrow for a final approval, so that way we can go ahead and get it paid out, everything done, and we can close the book, I believe.
I think we have to wait for the full.
We have to wait for the
Oh, we have to wait for the
Yep.
full? Oh, okay. So then, and this is just getting the deductible processed and paid to NYMER, so that way they go ahead and take care of and process it when it goes to the full then.
Okay. Fully get it. Great job getting it lowered somewhat, and hopefully looking forward to putting this behind us.
Yes.
Any
Wanna get it
questions
behind.
or comments from anybody? I'll make a motion to move it to the full. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good seeing everybody again.
Yeah.
All right. See you later.
Item number 14 is the approval of fund transfer for emergency services dispatch overtime through the end of the year.
just taking savings from some of their operational costs and covering their overtime.
From the vacant positions.
Yeah.
Zero fiscal impact. At least that's a good thing. We're covering the costs within our budget. Again, we got to pay our overtime. Is that me? No?
No, sorry.
I thought I won the $1 million.
Jeopardy.
Well, that's what happens when you have to score.
Commissioner Lipton.
All right, pretty straightforward. Anybody have any questions or comments? I'll make a motion to move it to the full. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Item number 15 is the approval of fund transfer for mental health and social services computer equipment for our new director of mental health. $2,500. We're moving the money around to cover the costs. Again, pretty straightforward. This is where we're going. Any questions or comments? Zero fiscal impact. Again, that's a good thing. I'll make a motion. Sorry, any questions? No?
Just a quick question.
Go ahead.
Because we're doing it this way, is that going to actually reduce what we had for the computers in 25?
Correct.
It will?
Yeah. Because they're going to get it now.
Good, get it
Yep.
now, good.
Okay, I'll make a motion to move it to the full. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Item number 16 is the approval designation of Putnam County Tourism Promotional Agency. Tara Keegan.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you for coming out
Castellano,
tonight.
Legislator Elder, and Legislator Goulman for having me this evening, even to the rest of the legislature.
So this is something I believe we have to do every year. Tara, do you want to speak to it at all? or-
Yes, this is just a resolution. The language is remaining the same except for the effect until date, which we changed to December 31st, 2025. This resolution is needed for the purposes for the grant application for I Love New York funding, which we rely on for tourism funds, just naming us Tourism Department, the Putnam as the TPA, the Tourist Promotion Agency for the county.
Fantastic. Any questions or comments? Thank you for everything you're doing there. I'll make a motion to move this to the full. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you for coming out tonight. I appreciate it.
Problem.
Item number 17 is the approval of the semi-annual mortgage. 17, right? Approval of the semi-annual mortgage tax payments from April 1st, 2024 to September 30th, 2024 from the county clerk's office. As most of you will recall that 2 times a year, as the county clerk collects mortgage tax on properties that are mortgaged in Putnam County, this money goes back to the local municipalities, and we have a total this 6-month period of $1,261,678.61 that is going to be sent to the local municipalities for these mortgage tax payments that were received by and processed by the Putnam County Clerk. I'll just read off the numbers real quick for everybody. Town of Carmel is getting $374,313.93. Town of Kent, $141,604.32. Town of Patterson, $128,277.80. In the town of Phillipstown, the village of Cold Spring is getting $12,877.07. The village of Nelsonville, $3,640.55. The remaining areas outside of the villages within the town of Phillipstown, $153,421.97. The town of Putnam Valley, $150,458.27. The town of Southeast, the village of Brewster will be receiving $8,743.05. The areas outside the village within the town of Southeast, $288,341.05. $1,261,260.65, again for a total of $1,261,678.61. We do this every 6 months. Unfortunately, the numbers have dropped down dramatically as less people are mortgaging properties or purchasing properties, but it's even with the previous 6 months that we had, so it's a good thing for Putnam County. Any questions or comments? Legislator Elmer.
Yeah, Commissioner Lewis, if you would be so kind as to take a look at page 3, the Part 2 table. Please just explain, because I don't understand particularly like the town of Carmel, the taxes adjusted and tax throughout the district, they're not the same.
I feel like this was dated, I think this was done last year, last quarter.
Okay.
There is a formula, I believe, I can get back to you on this, but I think,
Or just the general explanation is.
so column 6 is the column that is the net amount due, give me 1 second here. I think there's a fee on this. Let me get back to you on this.
Look at the next page.
Is it the next page? That'd be the recorder's office expense. I'd have to double check. Can I get back to you on that one?
Sure. I was just noticing that there was a difference.
Correct.
And there also is a difference actually there's a difference in all of them, but that one was pretty marked.
I think it's if you're looking at the semi-annual
5 versus
report.
6 is what I'm looking at.
Correct. But if you're looking at, what page is this? The next page on part 2, the
It
following.
matches up the
What it is,
spreadsheet.
right.
Correct.
Yeah.
You have the basic tax collected, and then you take out the recorder officer expense, and so that's what takes it. So that's by month, but then you go into the next few pages, and that's actually by the municipality.
So the state is taking that recording officer's
Yep.
expense, they're getting their piece of the action.
Correct.
Thank you very much, no need to get back.
Okay, good, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? I'll make a motion to move it to the full. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 18, approval of local law, amend Chapter 41, Code of Putnam County entitled Deposit and Investment Policy. Michael, would you give us an overview?
Yeah, sure. So I believe it was maybe 2 months ago, I came before as a discussion item to see to get an appetite if the legislature would be interested in amending this investment policy. This was done through our investment consultant, 3+1. They advised us to see if we can get more, broader, so it gives us more flexibility to have other investment options. This is in accordance with general municipal law. There's other municipalities throughout the state that have this type of investment policy. Doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to go into every single institution, but it just gives us the latitude to invest in other tools.
And what qualifies them? They're all bank institutions, and I think some are international and some are not. I'm just curious as to, like, Raymond James Bank, I thought that was like a financial institution of some sort.
They have a bank.
And they have a bank, I guess.
Bank, yeah.
But, I mean, is that what, I mean, this is fine with me, I understand what you're saying. Some of these institutions you won't be depositing in, but if they give you a good rate, then you're gonna put money in there if possible.
Correct.
Okay, but they're all
Secure.
secure?
They're also, yeah, these are actually through 3+1 that has their other clients, in these investments as well.
Okay. Hey, it's good to have more options for you as well, I would assume. So, capture a good interest rate when necessary. Any other questions or comments for this? Legislator Yonke.
Legislator Allen.
Mr.
I want to thank Commissioner Lewis for bringing this forward, because what he's done is he's generated a significant amount of revenue for the taxpayers, and this frees him up to even improve more, because we're basically increasing the limit that can be placed in any of the institutions. So thank you for doing this.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Mr. Yonke.
Yeah, I'm certainly in favor of this. It's a related question. Earlier tonight, we did some budgetary amendments, and we took money out of interest earnings. I assume that's related to what we have here.
Correct.
How much of a surplus, it's only still October, but how much of a surplus in interest earnings do we have this year?
As of now, about 5 million.
About 5 million over, okay. How much, do you happen to know what we budgeted, what we estimated last year in the '24 budget?
Off the top of my head, I think it was 3 million.
You estimated 3 and we have 8?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I was gonna pat you on the back, but that's a big miss.
that's conservative.
No, that's a huge, no, it's very, very good,
Yeah.
but, okay.
Well, and I think, all kidding aside, I think the reason being is that we've been able to take the monies that we have and put them now into fixed instruments, 12-month, 18-month, 24-month. So even though now the reserve is starting to go down, we've locked in those rates, 6 months ago.
Right.
At,
No, which is great,
Yeah.
which is, and I am giving you a pat on the back.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
And I will come before the committee, I do the quarterly reports to you guys, so you will be able to see the new depositories, if I do put it in a bank in Buffalo or, something to that effect.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? I'll make a motion to move it to the full. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Item 19 we handled before. We're moving right on to item number 20. This is the approval of ratification of the 110-acre lane property formerly known as 10 River Road in the town of Southeast. So it looks like we have decided to purchase this property.
Correct.
Did we have multiple bidders on this property?
There were.
Do you know how many?
I think there might have been 3 or 4. My understanding is that when it closed at 11, there were bidding wars that ended up going 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. So when it was all said and done, it got up to the 465,000.
That's good news.
For the purpose of this budgetary, this action on the Schedule A, I'm only showing the winning bid.
Okay. Questions or comments?
I'm being self-promotional, I want to take a little bit of a victory lap on this, because originally it came through the resolution that it wanted to be sold at the appraised value, and I didn't feel that was proper, and that's why Physical Services, we voted to put it up for auction, and as you can see, there's a significant difference between the 290 appraised value and the actual sale value. Plus, per Commissioner Lewis, doing it this way actually resulted in a lower commission
Correct.
involved in the sale, so the taxpayers of Putnam County benefited.
Correct.
So this is done very well. Thank you all involved.
Right.
Mr. Yonke?
Has the winning bidder been identified? Is that public?
For the purposes of this, I was asked to redact, but I do have that information.
Good. We'll have that at a later date, I'm sure. But seems like we got more than what we were asking for, and that's a good thing for everyone in Putnam. Anyone else? I'll make a motion to move it to the full. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 1 is other business. If anybody has any other business here, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? Favor? Aye.